Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Rainmakers Roundup. I'm your host, Mark Iorio, and I have the distinct pleasure of having Barry Curewitz, the founder and owner of Closet Possible, with me today, and an old-time friend of mine, a long-time friend, not an old-time friend, but a long-time friend. How are you, my friend?
I'm great, Mark, and I can't say enough how much I appreciate being here. Thank you for inviting me.
It's a pleasure. It's been too long. I've been doing this for a couple of years. I probably... we ran into each other recently, and I thought, man, it would be, these stories, Barry, are great stories to tell because, you look at someone like you had a very, very successful corporate marketing career. You work for large organizations, and then at some point over the last several years, you decide to go out and become an entrepreneur.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a big step.
Well, it was a huge step, Mark, and for me, in my life, I believe people make change typically for two reasons. They're unhappy with what's going on with where they are, one, but two, there's something that they're going towards. Something that meets a need that they have that they're not getting met, that need's not getting met now.
Right.
So for me, I was a little frustrated by corporate America. I hit my glass ceiling, as most everybody does.
Yep.
The way decisions get made can be frustrating, and I stumbled across this industry, which I just love. Yeah. I mean, I just every morning, you asked me yesterday, what is it that gets me out of bed in the morning and my feet on the floor? I love what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, well, listen, if you can't find a passionate thing that you do in life, right, why do it at all? So what is that, where's that passion coming from? Why do you love what you do, what you do every day?
There's so many elements going through my mind right now.
Yeah.
What drives me is I like to make people happy. I like to fill a need, do it well, and make people happy. And if you talk to my installers, when they come back at the end of an installation, the first question I ask them is the client happy?
Yeah.
That's what drives me.
Yeah.
I like to make a difference in people's lives. And Mark, how lucky am I?
Yeah.
People invite me into the most private space in their home, somebody's closet. I mean, how do you get more private than that?
Yeah, exactly.
And I get to help make their lives better, which, of course, we do more than just closets. We do mudrooms and laundry rooms and office systems, garages, basements, everything. Yeah. But people invite me in. It's not a scenario where somebody calls the body shop and says, my brakes are bad, can you help me? And they're filled with anxiety.
Yeah.
People are calling me and saying, make my life better.
Right.
How great is that?
Yeah, no, it's terrific. I mean, it's, look, I mean, to be able to do that, to go into someone's home and say, listen, I feel disorganized. My garage is a mess, my basement's a mess, my closet's a mess, or whatever.
I can't find this, I can't find that. I want to protect my ties. I have beautiful saris that my grandmother gave me, and they're worth lots and lots of money. How do I protect them and care for them? And it's so many things we help people with.
Yeah, that's great. Talk about why you think or why you feel Closet Possible is different from the myriad of other competitors out there. What makes you different?
Well, first, I have to say, Mark, what makes us different, it's only possible because of the support of my wife and family. My wife and family have supported me through this venture now for 6 years. Every day my wife hears my challenges. She's a great sounding board, and she's really been a wonderful supporter. What makes us different is that we really listen to what our clients want. We have, 50 endorsements online in a very short period of time.
Wow.
On Google, we have endorsements on Houzz and Facebook. And it's because we really listen to our clients' needs. We manage their expectations, and we also make them aware of their options. I just went a little out of order. But we really listen to their needs. We make them aware of their options so that we can best identify what's going to work for them. And we make it happen.
Yeah.
And it's really, look, we're a local family-owned business.
Yep.
People love that because of the attention they get. My biggest competitor, I won't mention who they are, although they resemble a state in the other part of the country. they're owned by a public company in Canada. They have 400,000 employees globally.
Yeah.
Do you think those employees care about their customers? I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
They do, but they don't get the same care and attention that we get to give them.
Yep. Entrepreneurship is it's challenging, Barry. It really is. I mean, we both know that. I can't believe you've been doing this for 6 years already. I remember meeting at the place, a little breakfast place over in Yardley, a number of times, talking about looking at opportunities to become an entrepreneur, and you chose Closet Possible because it was the best opportunity for you.
It was.
And I'd like you to share some of the successes that you've had over the past 6 years.
For me, Mark, the term success can be answered in so many ways. Look, we've had a compounded annual growth rate of more than 28% for the last 3 years.
That blows me away. I mean,
Well,
that's
thank you.
pretty amazing.
Yeah, 28.3% over the last 3 years.
Wow.
So that's success. And that's important to some people. It's important to me. But what's also important in terms of success is I have repeat clients.
Yeah.
Now, Mark, it's not like I'm selling spaghetti sauce where people are using it every month or every week.
Right.
I'm selling custom organization. So my level of success comes when I have 2 clients I'm working with right now on my 4th project in each of their homes.
Wow.
Yeah, 4th project. So for me, that is success.
Yeah. 28.5 or 28.3% compound annual growth rate
Yes.
over the last couple of years is really pretty incredible.
Thanks.
That is awesome. That people don't realize how tough that is. In business, you're continuing to grow year over year, right? Mm-hmm. And profits start to climb.
That's
and,
right.
Revenue starts to climb. So let's say we're sitting here, right? And we have a younger Barry Curewitz over here.
Younger, thinner, more hair, better looking. Okay, let's go.
Let's go. What kind of advice would you give a younger Barry Curewitz?
Believe it or not, Mark, to be more observant
Yeah.
of my company. And here's what I mean. When I started out, I hired some designers.
Yeah.
Let me back up. So when I started this business, there were things I thought I'd be good at and things I wouldn't be so good at, just because of my experience in corporate America.
Yeah.
Fast forward 3 years into this business, I learned that the things I thought I would be good at, I wasn't.
Right.
And the things I didn't think I'd be good at, I'm pretty good at, which is really interesting for me, that I learned that I have strengths that I didn't realize I had and weaknesses I didn't realize I had.
Yeah.
So that's one thing, is to be more observant to my own behavior and my own abilities and my own skill set. The other is I hired some designers. Frankly, I hired designers and tried to make them salespeople,
Interesting.
which did not work.
Yeah.
Did not work. So now I'm hiring salespeople and making them designers.
Interesting.
Which is a very different approach to it.
Yeah.
And yes, designer is another title for salesperson.
Yeah.
But it's important that I hire people with the sales skills, because I can teach them to design.
Yeah.
Hell, I can hire a backroom helper to do designing for them.
Right.
It's having salespeople who can develop that connection with a homeowner.
Yeah. Take us through a process, Barry. You go out to a customer, you say you're a good listener, and you are a good listener. I've known you a long time. What are the steps that you typically take when a prospect, let's just say,
Sure.
calls you into
Sure.
their home?
Sure.
What are the first couple things you do?
Well, Mark, it actually happens before I visit their home. When somebody contacts me and we have a conversation, the first conversation is really important, that I get them to understand what we offer. We offer the same or better quality than these national brands at 10 to 30% less, and we can do that
Wow.
because I don't have to pay into national ad campaigns, I don't have to pay royalties on every sale, and I pass that on to the consumer. Meanwhile, I use the best material available. So I take my prospects through a discussion of what it is they're looking to achieve, Am I a good fit for them? Are they a good fit for me? And once we come to an agreement, now, we don't talk about it in these terms. Well, I agree that you're a good fit for me. Am I, we don't go through that. It's about this conversation on the phone. And if we feel like it's a good fit, then we set an appointment. And I tell the prospect on the phone, the process is very simple. It's designed to make it easy on you. Here's what happens. I come to your home. Just did this the other day with a person in Yardley. She has 3 areas in the home she wants to organize. We go to each area. I don't take any paper with me. Not in each area. And we talk about the space. Her master closet. What is it that you like about it? What is it that you don't like about it? How would you like this to be different? We go through that conversation, and then I make them aware of their options. This is key. Look, Mark, I'm not here to sell you anything. I want to develop a solution that fits your needs. This is about you. I'm here to tell you what's available to you. This is really important. I'm here to tell you what's available to you. Your job is to tell me what you like and you don't like. And I'll throw in there a little joke. I'll say, look, Mark, I've been married for 30 years. Do you know what that means? I've been ignored for 30 years. So if you don't like my ideas, you're not going to hurt my feelings, okay? So we go through their options.
Is Melissa listening to this?
Well, sorry, honey. Love
He's
you.
just kidding.
Love
He's
you.
just kidding.
But I take them through their options, and then we talk about what it could look like, what it could be like. Then we go to the next spot in the home, and the next spot, and we go through all of this, and then I'll say to them, Mark, I've learned I cannot talk and measure at the same time. So if you'll allow me, I need to go back to each area that we talked about. I need to take very precise measurements down to 1/8 of an inch. And you have a choice when I'm done with that, Mark. I can sit down with my computer, with my Mac, and design for you solutions for each spot in the home, and we can go through them right here and now, or you can come to my showroom and review that. My showroom's in Pennington. We've got 10 vignettes set up. We'd love to have you come out there. I'll meet you. We'll go through the designs. And the homeowner will say, oh, typically they'll say, no, let's do it here. So I design it, and in 3D, I can show them what the closet will look like.
Wow.
In 3D.
That's pretty cool.
So I'll take them through the design, wall by wall, and I'll say, what do you like? What don't you like? What do you want to change? This is all about you. And, there are questions along the way I ask, are you left-handed or right-handed? Because that might indicate how to lay out the closet. Of course, I'll measure their clothing, how long it is from the top of the closet rod to the bottom of the jacket, how much they need laterally. We talk about the options I can provide them, and then we create it.
Wow. What are the biggest? We're going to take a quick break, but what are the biggest objections to that process? That's pretty extensive. I mean, you go through a pretty extensive process there.
It is, and it actually goes quicker than you think, because when somebody's been dealing with disorganization and the frustration of that. They have a clear idea of what it is they're looking for, while not knowing. I know I want my shirts to be more organized. Well, let me show you how that can be. I have one client, lovely lady. She gets up every day to get ready for work, and her mindset is, what scarf am I going to wear? So we developed a scarf cabinet that has glass doors. She gets up in the morning, she goes to her scarf cabinet, she looks in, she picks her scarf out, and then she goes about assembling the rest of her outfit.
That's so cool. That is so cool. This has been great. We're going to take a quick break. We are brought to you by Hiram & Solomon, which is one of the finer cigars that I've had over the years. You don't smoke cigars, do you?
No.
No.
Sorry.
Not even, not on TV, Melissa. He doesn't smoke cigars. But Hiram & Solomon, our sponsor, we are going to take a quick break. We'll come right back after a message from our sponsor. Welcome back to Rainmakers Roundup. I am your host, Mark Iorio. I'm with Barry Curewitz. Barry and I are talking about Closet Possible. He is the founder and, CEO, founder and CEO.
Yes, sir.
Owner.
Bottle washer.
Chief bottle washer.
I vacuum.
You mop floors, you vacuum.
I pay the bills.
You measure closets and garages and
I do.
basements and all kinds of stuff. Hey, where did you come up with that skill? Were you? I'm serious. Where did you come up with that skill? I mean, because you've got to, you got to be able to visualize how a closet's going to look. Sometimes you walk into raw space,
right?
Or worse yet, I'm sure you walk into chaos.
And everybody apologizes for how messy their closet is.
My closet looks horrible.
That's why I'm here. It's why I have a job.
Right. So where did you pick up this skill? It's an interesting skill.
It's really, think of it like this, Mark. Every project I do is a puzzle.
Yeah.
My clients want to fit 10 pounds of junk in a 5-pound box.
Yep.
Now, I get a few who want to feel like they're shopping at Nordstrom's every day, and we can do that, and it's great. You know, glass doors and crown molding and lighting and base molding, we can do it all.
Yeah.
But 95% of my clients want to put 10 pounds of stuff in a 5-pound box.
Okay.
And that makes it a puzzle.
Yeah.
I love puzzles. I do 5 puzzles at breakfast every morning. I do, in the USA Today.
Really?
It helps keep me sharp, absolutely.
Okay.
And I love the puzzle aspect. So once I understood it as a puzzle, when you understand the client's needs and you know the restraints of the space you have available to you, you then have to figure out how to lay it all out so you utilize every square inch of space.
Yeah. Yeah, and so this software program that you have, once you've measured all the dimensions of either a closet, a basement, a garage, or whatever it might be.
Yep.
It gives you a CAD drawing or a 3D rendering, I guess, of a...
The way the software works is I put in the dimensions for the room, and I create that, and then I have to build the closet or the garage storage or whatever with cabinetry in the system.
Yeah, sure.
But then I modify everything to fit the space.
Okay.
So I can modify width and height and depth. I can modify the accessories that go in there. I can modify doors and drawers with 4 different styles of drawer faces. Yeah. And I just create it all, and then of course share it with a homeowner.
Wow, that's fascinating. You have to call Barry if you're really in a disorganized state. Thankfully, I think I have a little tiny bit of OCD, so I want to make sure everything's in order. Patty doesn't feel that way all the time, but now she's getting it after 8 years. But since you started this business, I am sure, and even prior to, we all make mistakes or missteps
all the time.
And the idea is to, you make a mistake or you make a misstep and you learn from it. What sort of mistakes or missteps have you made, A? And then B, Barry, how do you learn from that? And then how do you teach, let's say, your installers that you've talked about, ways to look around the corner so that maybe you avoid those similar mistakes down the road?
Mark, when you ask me what mistakes I've made, so many come to mind.
Yeah.
And I just look at almost everything. So in the corporate world, I worked for a company, Campbell Soup, many years ago. And we did postmortems on marketing programs, on advertising campaigns to see what worked and what didn't work.
Yep.
And that really has become a part of who I am. So whenever a problem comes up on site, I'll give you an example. We're working on a home right now in Ringgoes, New Jersey. Beautiful, $3 million home, gorgeous closet systems we put in. But we made a mistake. I'm not perfect. I made a mistake. I mismeasured something. The countertop went in, the cabinetry all went up, and we have to replace the countertop. So my installer, Sean, said to me yesterday, hey boss, how are we getting this countertop out? I'm like, well, what do you mean? So I open up the file, and I've got cabinetry running up. where there's only about 14-inch gap between the cabinetry on the side and the cabinet on the main wall. And we spent 20 minutes talking about how to get that countertop up and out and then get a new one in.
Wow.
Not simple when the countertop is the width of the room.
Wow.
So we look at everything as a learning opportunity.
Yep.
It's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to make the same mistake twice, but we learn from our mistakes and incorporate that into what we do on an ongoing basis.
Yeah.
So that now the number of mistakes we have is limited, which leads me to something I thought you might be interested in. I've developed over 5-6 years some KPIs, some key performance indicators that I watch on a monthly basis to see how we're doing. One of them is we need to have a 90% first install rate, which means if I'm installing your closet and it's supposed to take 1 day, it takes 1 day. If it's supposed to take 3 days because it's a giant closet, it only takes 3 days. And we've now gotten to the point where our performance is greater than 90%.
Wow.
Which is hard if you think about how custom what we do is.
Oh, yeah.
I have to order each and every piece individually from the factory.
Yeah.
Each piece.
Yeah.
Sean has to care for that piece, and Bill, they have to care for that material in transit from my workshop into the van, into the home. They have to care for that product so it doesn't get damaged and it doesn't damage anything else.
Yeah.
It's really intense.
Yeah.
And we've now gotten that KPI up into the 90% range.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So when you go through these postmortems, you know, in this case, with the client, obviously you have to say to the client, look, I made a mistake, right? I'm going to be in your house a little longer, your home a little longer. How do you deal with that? How do you typically go about that? Sean's with you, right?
Well, the first and most important thing is to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm honest to a fault. I am saran wrap.
Yeah.
I am that see-through. And I'll tell the clients...
By the way, you've always been that way. So this is not a new thing for, you know, Barry Curewitz, the entrepreneur, closet possible president. It's, you know, you've always been that way.
And I'll tell the client, I just had this with a client in Princeton. I forgot to order backing for their cabinetry. What kind of a dope am I?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I went to their home because she had a couple of questions. I said, can I come to your home tonight? We'll talk. She said, absolutely.
Yeah.
She was thrilled that I came to her home again.
Yep.
And I looked her in the eye in the basement. I said, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
I forgot to order the backing. That's on me.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, that's no problem. And I'm like, you just have to understand, I just need a little time because I have to put the order into the factory. They've got to make it a priority for me, which they do.
Yeah.
We got to come back out. She was as nice as could be.
Yeah.
You know, she said, not everybody's perfect. And I'm like, I appreciate that. Some clients
are not
quite so understanding. But for the most part, you know.
You've never been tossed out of the home.
No, never been tossed out. No, that's
That would be a new one, right?
Gee, thanks, Mark.
No, that's pretty incredible. 90+%. You know, I mean, it takes a lot of tweaking and adjustments and figuring out, you know, am I doing the right thing? Am I estimating this at the right number of hours?
And there are a lot of variables which other entrepreneurs will understand. There are a lot of variables in your work that are out of your control. I'll give you an example. Mark, I make you 2 guarantees. I guarantee you that my wood is straight. My material is straight. I guarantee that your walls are not.
Right.
Now, if you go and look at your walls, they can be wavy up and down. They can be wavy in and out of the corner.
Yep.
So when my closet system goes in, on one side of the closet, the vertical panel might be snug up against the wall.
Yep.
On the left side, it might not be, because that wall might flare out a little.
Yeah, sure.
So then I get into managing expectations.
Yeah.
So I make people aware of their options to come up with a solution they want. Then I manage their expectations. I'll say, look, and it's true, 99% of my clients, if there's a little gap, they're cool with it.
They're fine, yeah.
They're fine. They understand that it's
Things
not
are
perfect.
not perfect, right.
I've had 2 clients in 6 years say, you know what, I'd really like trim over that. Do you have trim?
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. How do you find new clients? What's the process behind that?
You know, Mark, that's a great question. So starting out, it was, since we were a new business, it was all about advertising and then getting every job we could get to build credibility.
Sure.
Over time, the proportion that we get from advertising versus referrals, you know, that it's now crisscrossing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're getting, I would say, a full 20% of our business comes from referrals or repeat business.
That's good.
So the other 80%, we're all online now.
Okay.
I might do spot print once in a while if it seems like, all right, it's a low investment, I'll take the risk, but I've really focused online.
Good. Where do you find inspiration?
You know, Mark, for me, inspiration comes in the form, it's not of idolizing somebody or emulating somebody. For me, idolization comes in the form of little pithy statements. So my wife and I, we moved 3 years ago and we had this mirror made for our closet. And on the mirror, it has sayings all around the mirror.
Cool.
So at the top of the mirror says, the secret to life is enjoying the passage of time. So even when I'm having a difficult day at work, doesn't happen often, maybe twice a year, I still realize how lucky I am to be doing this. So I'm enjoying the passage. Then there are statements, you know, to be happy, to celebrate, be creative, accept change, and a few others that really, I try and read this mirror at least once a week because it sets me and it kind of grounds me in the kind of person I want to be, and that's where I get it from.
Well, it's done a great job.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
And I've had the pleasure of interviewing you over the last 30 minutes.
You're the man. You know I love you, Mark.
I love you too, brother. Tell everybody how to get in touch right there with Barry Curewitz, please.
Just so you know, we're a local family-owned business. I'm the owner, and I work with all of our clients. Closet Possible can be found online at www.closetpossible.com, or you can reach out to me at 267-566-3222.
Awesome.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, my friend. That was brilliant. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap for Rainmakers Roundup right here on RVN TV. We'll see you next week. Have a wonderful and safe week, everyone.